Hey everyone, Brandon here alongside our reviews editor, Dan Stapleton.
Hello.
So Dan, I pulled you aside because you and I both reviewed Watch Dogs. And a little while ago, it was someone let slip via LinkedIn that they had done some work on Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah, an Ubisoft Paris developer.
That's right. So that is not inconsequential.
Yeah, I mean, like we all knew this was coming. Like,
sure. Yeah.
Ubisoft does not, or Ubisoft. Sorry, Ubisoft does not make.
Ubi?
It is Ubi, not Ubi. They do not make one of anything really when it comes to those big scale games.
Yeah, totally. So like in this day and age, anytime enough effort gets put into a property, right off the bat, if it does even marginally okay, generally it's in line for a sequel.
Right.
Seems to be like the safe bet. That's what's happening right now. So I pulled you aside because we both had some thoughts on Watch Dogs. So right off the bat, what are you looking for from a Watch Dogs 2? Are you excited for it? What would you want to see?
I am. I had a really good time with Watch Dogs. I mean, you know, it's obviously not without its problems because what game is?
Sure.
But I mean, I think the number one thing they got to do is get rid of Aiden Pierce.
Right.
That guy, you know, in my review, I called him an empty trench coat.
Yeah.
He's just a kind of worthless character. I think, and you know, Ubisoft has proven in the past they're willing to just shove aside an old character. Some of them, some of the Assassin's Creed protagonists were less popular than others. They were kind of shown the door pretty quickly.
And then the real popular ones like Ezio got 3-4 games.
Right. So I think they either need a new character who is can actually drive one of these games and be likable in some way, or just bring in Jordy Chin, one of the side characters who is also a fixer from the first Watch Dogs, and a much more likable, interesting guy.
Absolutely, yeah. So that was one of my points. You teed it up perfectly for me. Like the secondary characters for me in Watch Dogs were the reason, were my character connection to that game. Because this guy here, he started empty, right, and then just kept going. Like he never filled himself up. Any way whatsoever, but I think get a protagonist in there that actually has something to say and something to do and doesn't contradict himself, whether it be one of those secondary characters who really drove the story for me, or just create something new. But outside of the characters, like gameplay, multiplayer, the city, is it a new city?
I think it's got to be a new city.
We're not going back to Chicago?
I think they've got to go to a new city. I mean, you can't, if they recycle it, there'll be hell to pay. Like, nobody wants to just replay the same thing. It would feel too recycled.
Sure. So what are you thinking? Like maybe Boston?
I don't know. Like
organized crime in Boston?
It could be literally anywhere.
Yeah,
like
sure.
they might not even be in the United States.
It's not going to be Spokane, Washington,
I mean, maybe they'll recycle the Assassin's Creed Unity Paris map and just update that. No, they're not gonna do that either. But it could be a European city. It could be an Asian city. It could be anywhere.
Okay.
And the fact they went with Chicago instead of like New York or Los Angeles means they probably want to go for somewhere a little bit less overplayed.
Right. Chicago had that organized crime sort of history, and that law enforcement, that whole thing. So it kind of teed it up. But getting into the way we interact with the city. Anything that you'd want to change there?
I mean, first of all, I think the driving and chasing, road chase mechanics need a little bit of work. Like it was a little bit too one button. I'm gonna drive past this trap, push a button, and the cops or enemies following me.
A little too linear.
Yeah, they're just automatically dead. Like you couldn't even shoot a gun out the window. Like they need to free up some more options there.
Yeah.
And as for mission design, they need to really embrace the kind of more open stuff they did with the hideout hit missions. You would go in and take out a gang member or whatever. You could go in stealthily, or you could go in guns blazing.
So that was my favorite.
Or a mixture of the two, and those were the strongest parts of that game.
That was my favorite part of it too. Is those missions where it left some ambiguity to how you're going to tackle each situation, similar to like the outposts from the Far Cry series. Do I go in stealthily? Do I go in guns blazing? Do I drop a tiger in there?
And there does need to be more depth to the hacking as well.
Yeah, once you figured out that it was sort of a one note.
Yeah, it was a little bit too magical. Just push one button, and I didn't feel like a skilled hacker. I just felt like they kept referring to hackers as magicians.
Yeah.
Because it was basically magic, and I think that was kind of a wink and a nod saying, yeah, this is a magic power you have.
Sure. I mean, but near future, we'll see.
Yeah, they just need to make it feel a little bit more skill based.
Yeah. Oh, I'm tentatively looking forward to it. Again, none of this is confirmed. This is just all wild speculation. But we want to hear what you have to say as well. So let us know what you think. Watch Dogs 2, what would you like to see change? What would you like to see kept the same? Definitely let us know in the comments below. But for more on Watch Dogs, future cyber hacking, and strange cities that could potentially host CTOS, you're already in the right place, IGN.